Okay.
Yeah, you see how
Look at us, so official. We both just whip our mics in
you
here.
guys both did that at the same
Love with
time.
my mic back and
Yeah,
forth.
whip my mic back and forth. Well, Josh can't hear it unless he has my stream open. But we'll play his favorite little football sound. Don't want to play too much though. Don't want to get in trouble. You know.
Oh, I know what's wrong. Are you live now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I need to change.
The usual nobody. Oh no, actually, there's a JJ. What's up, JJ? How's it going?
JJ's hanging out.
Don't know who JJ is, but what's up? How's it going?
You know JJ. Bills fan.
Oh, is JJ in your chat? Usually.
Usually hanging out from
Okay.
over at Hess's channel.
Okay. What's up? How's it going, JJ?
Here.
So you're a Bills fan?
Video.
We will talk that some. Not gonna go too crazy tonight on the discussions because it's just a really intense topic. And two, I mean, yes, I would love to talk the Packers, but there's no need to when I don't know.
Yeah, this is probably gonna be a pretty somber affair.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
It definitely is. At least based off how I feel, and I know you feel just about the same.
Do
Probably,
I sound better now or worse? I didn't realize I had that turned all the way up, so I might have been coming through real loud. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out my mic and see where that's coming from. I think it's this. Nope, that's not what I want. I want this. Test, test, test. Nope. I want this. Test, test, test.
JJ,
Test.
so, I assume you were watching last night while Josh gets his stuff set up. What were you thinking and feeling?
Ain't nothing.
My daughter, my almost 1-year-old is doing calisthenics down here.
Hello, hello, hello.
She's about to fall asleep.
Yeah, I missed the immediate play. I literally walked down the stairs as everyone was rushing out onto the field. There she is. There's Ruby. I can never get my pointing right. There she is.
Test.
Yeah, dude, it was
Is she going up the stairs?
yeah, she is. Yeah, it was intense. Like I said, I walked down the stairs as everyone was rushing onto the field, and then they showed the highlight like 5 times and then stopped showing it. It was so odd watching it because, yes, it was scary because he collapsed, but it was like the way he collapsed. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't that concussion collapse. It wasn't like a head injury type debacle. It was so, I don't know. It was just the weirdest thing I've seen. Josh is like all over the place here. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. It was just so weird. And then, like, obviously you see progressively the players' reactions getting worse and worse and more severe, and it was terrifying to watch. Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, the last update was positive. He is 50% his own breathing, 50% on oxygen. So progress is being made. He's still sedated, is what I saw. And it was his uncle. This is from his uncle who was reporting to everyone. So, you know, I would assume that's super legit. And so that's positive. I am interested to see when we find out what exactly happened. Like they say cardiac arrest, but like obviously he's struggling to breathe, so there had to have been something else with it. And I will say I like how none of usually Twitter doctors will come on and be like, it was this or it was that or blah 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 blah. From what I've seen, Twitter doctors, the only Twitter doctoring has been basically like, look, the athletic training staff. So the only she's here now. How you doing? You're not too warm. The only Twitter doctoring I've seen has been like thanking and praising the athletic training staff and how quick the ambulance got out there and the response team, not Twitter doctoring as in like this is what happened. And so I do appreciate that. Hey, can you say hi, Kiki?
Hi, Kiki.
So that's Kiki right there. That name. That's Kiki. So I do appreciate that. I feel obviously for the players and everyone else. I don't feel more, but I do feel a lot for the ESPN crew and Joe and Troy, Lisa.
Kiki on the bottom or on the top?
What?
Kiki right there.
Kiki's on the bottom. And Adam Schefter and Booger and all, like just Rachel Nichols, everybody for handling that in a as professional a way as possible while still letting all their feelings come through. Because as I saw one tweet was like, your evening news people, like they're used to talking about death and stuff on a regular basis. The ESPN crew is not, especially live. And so I think that they handled it really well. It is just like, I know we talked about it last night, Josh, that like seeing that happen is like, why watch football anymore?
Yeah. So I got lost in the sauce there for a while. I couldn't figure out why I wasn't streaming. And now I actually am, so I can actually pay attention to what's being said. I apologize. No worries. Hopefully I am. I know that Hess is also streaming at the same time, and I feel bad.
Did we just become
about
best
that, 'cause
friends?
I don't like
Yep.
streaming at the same time, but
Oh my gosh! Thank you, JJ, for the
Tuesday.
sub. Thank you for the subscription.
Yay!
Um,
We love JJ here.
so
JJ stands over here.
I know you said that you would not watch football anymore.
Yeah, so I'll kind of dive into that. For a second, if you don't mind.
Let you talk. I've been dominating.
yeah.
So
No, you're good. I literally have been. I mean, I've been listening to you, but I've been distracted. So, last night. So for a little while, I think. I mean, I've had a lot of peers, a lot of people like Hagen, for example, was always dogging on it, talking about the consequences, right, long term for players. I'll give him a second because I want to make sure everything's okay. I hope everything's okay. Imagine.
yeah, I was just saying good night.
Yeah.
We're good.
No worries, no worries. So like I've always had this like lingering thing in the back of my head. I think a lot of us do, right? That this is, even though these are people that are getting paid a lot of money, even though these are people that are getting opportunities that they wouldn't in any other way, like the sport gives them that. I've always had this, voice in the back of my head that's like it's modern day gladiators, right? I've said this a lot. These people go out and they hurt themselves, they put their bodies on the line, they literally can be paralyzed, they can, have the long-term effects of CTE, I saw a recent video just because everybody's talking about this a lot today, obviously for obvious reasons. Um, the Chicago Bears player that was like one of the biggest players in NFL history, right? And now he's 39 years old and has the body of a 72-year-old because of the arthritis, because of the toll that it took on his body to play the sport. And for most of these situations, who was it? Was it Shazier?
Oh, Ryan
paralyzed?
Shazier was
Shazier. That
yep.
one was a big moment for me where I was like, wow, this person's life is going to be different. You know what I mean? Like he's done in the NFL, but I remember it just like really it resonated, and I was like, and then I was thinking about like, okay, do I really want to watch this sport? I mean, is it really worth what I get from it, right? And not just talking about like my Colts stink, so I'm not interested, that kind of thing.
Right.
I'm not trying to be petty or in any way, but it was literally like is it something that I can stomach? Is it something that I can handle? And last night, and I'm not trying to make this about me, but we're talking about like the consequences here. And I'm watching, and I watch this kid fall to the ground, and my instant reaction is most like a lot of people, right? I'm thinking this kid is dead. Like,
well,
on the field, this
he
man
was. Like,
yeah,
they
with
resuscitated
his
him. Yeah,
right, 100%, right. And you're seeing all these players crying. You're seeing Josh Allen and all these guys, Tre'Davious White. They're just bawling on the sidelines.
100+ men of like the stereotypical macho men,
right? Just bawling,
full out bawling on national TV.
Right? Yeah, and it felt like just like it hit, and obviously it hit everyone, but it just hit so differently because it's never happened where someone's life ended in the most casual way. Like, I mean, it was like, I know there are people in ESPN. We can barely hear Darren. Let's fix that.
What?
Oh,
that's on your end.
JJ, thank you, JJ. Is that better? I actually had it turned down for some reason.
Yeah, I haven't been talking too much then either, but yeah, I'm here. Yeah, obviously.
I actually want to beer myself. I got me some Bud Light Orange. Because I'm basic. Anyway, so yeah, so you watch him go down. And again, it's gross. People are trying to blame T. Higgins for that. Did you see that?
Yeah,
the people on ESPN.
Bart Scott. There was apparently he's got a history of some sketch takes. I haven't. Yeah, I haven't. See, I've never been like a Bart Scott fan. I haven't been a hater, but like,
yeah, didn't know who he was. I mean, Skip Bayless, obviously, that's one that we can kind of talk about a little bit if we wanted to. Otherwise, I think the media reacted the way it should. But so, like I said, we watched him fall to the ground, and then I. And not to get too political or anything like that, but it's the same kind of like glass shattering that I had when it comes to thinking about like mainstream media like CNN and MSNBC and the obvious glaring wart on America, which is Fox News. Like, they take things that are clearly just a narrative that they're given from their bosses and they push it out to people and say this is reality, whereas reality couldn't be further from what they're telling us, right? And so I've already got that kind of in the back of my mind, and I'm watching them. And again, like you're saying, I don't. If I was announcing a football game and that happened, kudos to the people handling it, because that would be absolutely one of the most difficult things to do in that context. So I'm not going to try to dog them. I'm not going to try to do anything like that. But what happened was his heart stopped when he got hit, caused my heart attack. T must be absolutely no, and that's devastating, right? Oh, here I got 2 chat boxes, and I do not want 2 chat boxes. Don't know why I have 2.
Yeah, and that the whole yes, obviously there's all this stuff for Damar, without a doubt.
Right.
T, obviously, I mean that's
some psychological. God. Could you imagine? And that's another aspect of it. It's like, could you imagine somebody tackling you and then dying right there, right in front of you? And then there was actually the player also that watched him collapse. Like, I mean, that kind of process, how it messes with your head is just nuts. But for me, I'm still dealing with it. Again, my knee-jerk reaction was talking with you and talking with JJ even yesterday, was like, I'm done with this. I'm over it. I can't do this anymore. I can't stomach this anymore. I can't watch these guys go out there and literally put their lives on the line. I just can't. If that wouldn't be the straw that broke the camel's back for me, I feel like I wouldn't be able to come back from it. I don't know. It's like, it's something that you gotta, it's hard to move past.
Yep.
And I get that there's gonna be a bunch of people that are going to, and I get that's part of it, right? Like, that's the idea. That's the thing too, is you're right, JJ, 100%. Thank you for getting me back on track a little bit. That was another thing that really got me, is the fact that they were gonna start playing again. They should be
Oh,
like, all right, take 5
so
minutes, start stretching, do all this stuff.
so
Which
that I don't
they
know.
say it's protocol that they were just going
They
based
say
off
it's
of what the protocol
protocol.
says in the
The
book.
NFLPA says they were never going to push it. Roger Goodell said I don't trust him
I
more than
hate
I
the
can
man.
throw him.
Right. What's up, Porto?
I do see it as a default as like the refs are like I guess we'll go by the book and start it. Like
Right.
they also weren't gonna fight it whenever they took their teams off. What's up, Cordell? And so like you know what I mean? Like I think it's just one of those situations that for the people there, there's no good way to handle it.
No.
You know what I mean? And
No. There
and
isn't.
and what
There
a
isn't.
lot of people do.
Well, there is a very obvious good way to handle this.
Yes,
Is
but like
shut it down
but
immediately.
but you think about a lot of people when they get in any kind of tragic moment, what happens? What can happen is you default to order because order is what keeps you going,
Sure.
and that is the order. That is the protocol. Here and then the coaches were like, our players can't do it. So
Yes.
what?
1 second. 1 second. I'm gonna replace my
Go
battery. I
ahead. You
apologize.
talk.
Well, no, I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah,
To be honest with
yeah.
you. But I just want to actually be able to hear it.
Yeah.
And I know it'll go out soon. Oop, there we go.
You got to get better
Uh,
batteries. You have to replace them every time. You got to get better batteries.
I know they're little guys. You know what I'm saying? They're not
Yeah.
really. Anyway, yeah, they don't really last very long at all.
Yeah. So
I watching this. Sorry, I don't mean to jump over.
Go for it. Go for it.
I just, it's gonna take me some time, personally, to figure out whether or not this is something that I want to keep giving my support to, because the entertainment factor isn't right now. If I were to make a decision, a jump, a snap decision or what have you, I'd stop watching it completely. My heart is completely lost to this stuff
Yeah.
now.
So I get that, and I would understand. I don't know if I would understand fully, but I would support that. Like I would get that is a reason.
Well, that's
to
why
make
I'm glad
that
we're
decision.
talking, right? That's why I want to have the conversation with you.
So like for
Whatever.
me, like it wasn't a football play that caused it. Like I've had those type of collisions, maybe not at the same speed, but like similar looking collisions in Ultimate Frisbee. Like
Sure.
and I literally there's a guy that I played Ultimate Frisbee with in New Zealand who his chest still clicks when he goes like this because of how hard we collided. And
Dang.
and that's with no pads. Like so like
Sure.
crazy things happen in sports.
Yeah.
And the difference is like this was on like one of the biggest watch games of the season, I'm sure.
Right.
And that happens, but it wasn't a illegal, like a crazy football thing or something
Sure.
that is like, they've been trying to get like leading with your head out and that's what he did, or something dirty. It was just like a routine play.
Yeah.
And so that's where like there have been severe injuries before in football, and we've seen them. And I'm sure you grew up watching the Jacked Up like I did on Monday Night Football, where they talked about the best hits of the weekend and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I appreciate a good hit because that's what football is. Like, but like that was just different. But again, it wasn't like I don't know, like, you see all the people hurdling, and like I expect when they hurdle, like Hayden Hurst did it moments before that, and I was like, someone's gonna snap their leg or like rip their crotch out when they do that, but it never happens. Like, so it's just a weird thing. It's such a unique instance that like. I don't know. And you've had other people like Teddy Bridgewater when he was with the Vikings, like snapped his leg in the preseason in practice and like almost died because of blood loss. Like, but that also has happened in basketball. Like that's happened in other sports. Like, those just weird things.
it's just like the extent of it. That's the problem for me. Is again,
Yeah.
it comes back to the idea that, you know, like you're saying, basketball, ultimate frisbee, any sport, you have the risk of being injured. But it's again, and I keep using it's a tired analogy, and I know I keep using it, but it's like we put these guys in a dome, we put these guys in a stadium, and we say beat the shit out of each other. It's the same problem that I have with like UFC, right? It's the reason why I don't watch fighting. It's because I don't like the idea of watching two people literally injure each other in the same way.
Yeah,
That's a whole different ballgame. That's a whole
brutal.
different beast, right? But like, some, you know, there's some, I don't know. For me, if they were to, if I had my choice, if I was a commissioner of the NFL, if I was choosing how these things were to change going forward, I'd just switch to flag football. I'd be done with it. I would be like, you know what? I think that there's a way to show off these people's athleticism, to let them do their thing, to make this sport and be entertaining and all this stuff, while also not literally risking people's lives.
Right. I get that. It's just so hard with this one because, like I said, there are non-contact sports that have hits like soccer. I mean, you got some brutal hits in soccer. You get rugby, like.
Yeah, but look at statistically how much more it happens.
I know.
You know what I mean? It's like night to compare that. It's like me saying my injuries are comparative.
I know, but like,
you know,
I mean, we also don't know if he had an underlying issue that they hadn't caught. Like, you know, there was a girl that when I was in high school, she died playing softball, like out up to bat and died because she had an aneurysm. Like,
yeah.
Weird things happen out of the blue. It doesn't excuse the issues of football and some of the brutality of it, but like I have a hard time putting this on football. You know what I mean? I can put things on the NFL for handling it.
I'm not trying to put you in a position to have to defend football too.
Right? No, you're good.
I know I'm not trying to be like, hey, I need you to defend these things. Justify it for me. That's not my goal here. Just to make sure that that's clear. And real quick with what Cordell was saying, because he
might have said it in mine too.
Yeah, Ryan Shazier, talking about Ryan Shazier.
Oh no, we did talk about that. He was like,
he said he would want to play today if he could, and I get it. And Tua the same way, right? He wanted to play. Like these players, I understand that they want to do this. But at the same time, in ancient Rome, they wanted to go into the Colosseum, some of them, right? In order to prove themselves, in order to gain fame and fortune in the same way, right? Like it's not, like I said, not a one-to-one, obviously, right? And it's just so hard considering, like, when you look at the science of it, when you look at what the studies that people have taken, when you look at those long-term effects, when you look at all of these things, there's no way to, in my mind, justify the cost for the person, for the people, even though they would want to, and even though they would go and do it in a heartbeat again, like Ryan Shazier said. It's so hard for me to be like, it's like watching a sibling or somebody have some sort of toxic addiction or what have them, you know what I mean? Like watching them go back to that thing that's hurting them the most. It's like, you need to stop this because it would be better for you if you didn't do it. And that's the way I feel when I see them talk about, I still play. I'd love to play them. I'd play tomorrow, that kind of thing.
This is not how I feel, but people would argue that, they have lots to play for, millions and millions, but on the, but Damar Hamlin was a 6th round pick. Like, you know, he's not, I don't know what his salary is, but like he ain't making those buku bucks.
Sure. I mean, he's making, he's still making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Right. Which is, if you think about it like that, it's like, okay, is it worth $100,000 a year or $500,000 a year for 4 or 5 years for those people that aren't super crazy good, right? But they played all through college, all through up until professional football, played for 5 years, and they're going to have those long-term effects. They may not be as severe, mind you, right? But like, they'll be on practice squads for years, and they're still going to have these. They're going to have these long-standing injuries, and especially considering how much money the NFL makes. That's another thing too. Is like they don't get a fair. I know they have a union. I know they have the Players Association and all that, but I just don't think they get a fair shake of what they're actually bringing in when it comes to revenue.
Right. True. So Cordell,
there's a lot. There's a lot.
On my side, said that it's scary because this is the first time we were really exposed to like death live. Like, unless you've had a personal experience with something.
Well, we all think about 9/11. That's also
But that's what.
too.
But we weren't watching that. I mean, I guess we were watching some of the cleanup.
Yeah, we were
stuff
also
live,
young.
but
For some of us, for a lot of us, we were young.
Yeah, but this was like just everyday life, and so that was it was pretty intense. I think for me, it all needs to start younger as far as the safety stuff. Like, there's still, I think you can do tackle football in a safe way, but you've got all these old school coaches that are coaching the kids that are still doing the really intense drills way too early, way too often. And, I think kind of like what you were saying about making the whole thing flag football, keep it flag football up until you're, I don't know, varsity level high school. And then so that way, so that way it's just you're developing your skills, you're developing blocking, all of that stuff, but you don't get the impact.
Sure.
And then find ways to work it in something. I don't know. But again, I will say I don't know if that would fix this instance.
Yeah.
Until we know more, I just
yeah.
I don't know.
I think the important thing, and we've gone over quite a bit longer than I thought we were going to talk about it. But obviously, once we get going, we kind of like a steamroller. But I'd say this: the thing that's the most important right now is Damar.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously the most important thing. I think that when it comes right down to it, all we can do is just wait for it, hope that there's good news. And then nothing else really matters.
So I won't dwell on it, but I will say, if you haven't yet, go listen to Ryan Clark's comments on Scott Van Pelt last night.
I did too. I
thought he was great.
Sure.
I think it's really cool. Mike Tomlin's another guy that I love listening to, the coach of the Steelers, and they were one of a few teams that still did press conferences today. And he talked on it, and he's known Damar since he was like 12, I guess.
Sure.
And so he was talking on that some, and I thought he had some really good thoughts on it. I like, it's only so much, but I still like the number of teams that canceled their press availability, that, have their stadiums lit up blue. Like, the Patriots, like, your rivals, like, it doesn't matter anymore. Like,
right.
And I love that the videos of after the game, the Bills and Bengals fan, like, marching to the hospital and, like, just outside the hospital. I love the tweets from people who were at the stadium who were like, the entire crowd was silent. Like, and you got it on the ESPN cameras too, but I mean, it was just like, they were like, it was silent. Bengals fans were taking care of Bills fans. Like, everyone was on the same page. And
I did like that. I mean, it's obviously inspiring to see people, nothing else matters. Focus on what actually truly does. That's always a good thing. Always a good thing.
So the last thing that I'll mention is obviously his charity.
Yep.
So I just think, again, this is a really cool story. This is a dude who, I guess, didn't really come from much. Sixth round. I'm gonna cover your face with it, Josh. Oh, my face also disappeared, so that's fun. What the heck happened? Everything closed. That was weird. Okay, so I think it's really cool that he started this when he was, I think, first year, maybe last year, something like that. His goal was $2,500.
Yeah,
$2,500.
Right.
It sucks that it takes this for people to come together and donate this much money, but it is impressive that in 24 hours.
Oh, yeah, Darren, do a screen share.
24 hours, the people came together. I guess that's what you want. In 24 hours, $5.5 million was donated. And it's just insane. And you can look here. And so the biggest one is only $20,000. Like,
sure.
Yes, that's a lot, but you know what I mean? It's not like someone came in and dropped 500,000. Like $5.5 million in 24 hours. I understand the catalyst for it and what got it going, and again, national television and the Bills Mafia is fucking insane.
Yeah.
In a good way. I love Bills Mafia. And the other thing that I think is really cool is that you go through here, okay, Matt Stafford, Russ, Tom Brady, the Commanders, Chris Jericho, if that's actually Chris Jericho.
It was. Not only was it Chris Jericho, but he misspelled his name, so then he had to do it as Chris Jericho because he did it as Crust Jericho.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
You can stop the screen sharing, Darren.
Andy
It's causing
Dalton.
chaos.
Okay. And so I just think it's super cool that all these people. Now, on the flip side, I will say that a lot of these guys could do a lot more, but also.
Oh, they definitely could have.
Shannon Sharp, which obviously he wasn't on Undisputed today. Josh McDaniels, he's new since I looked. He donated an hour ago. So I think it's really Devin McCourty. So I think it's just really cool that that all of this is happening.
In support. Yeah, there's a silver lining, I guess.
And again, I love Bills Mafia. Like, what was when Andy Dalton who'd they beat? They beat someone and got the Bills into the playoffs for the first time in forever. So Bills Mafia came out and donated to Andy Dalton's thing. When Josh Allen's grandma died, they raised a whole lot of money, and now there's like a wing in a hospital or something like that for named in his grandma's honor. So I think Bills Mafia is awesome. Christina says fuck Skip. I'm not even going to talk on it. He's not worth it. But yes. Cordell said Shannon Sharp, like Charles Woodson's tweet, that Undisputed is unwatchable without Shannon. Ooh. Dude, Skip Bayless should have been done forever ago, and he should be done now. Okay, that's enough on Skip. So one quick thing, just because I feel like we need to talk about it, because we'll a little bit of actual football stuff. No idea what's going to happen. With the games this weekend, they obviously said that they don't have a plan currently for Bills-Bengals. They haven't said anything about any of this weekend's games, but, like, how do players on other teams feel about playing? I mean, obviously they witnessed it, but, like, not in the same way. I'm going to tell Luke 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and actually real quick. I'm going to turn my stream off. I'm done streaming for the night. Right. I want to make sure and send people to Hess real quick. So I'm going to do that.
So I think it's going to be really interesting in a number of ways what happens with that. Because I've seen some people say, like, okay, they don't play that game. All the Chiefs need to do to get the 1 seed is win. And some people are saying, well, in good spirit, they should forfeit that 1 seed to the Bills. And I'm like, I don't think it works that way. And I just, it's going to be really interesting from a logistical standpoint how the NFL handles this, because not only do you have to handle it in a good way logistically, but you'll have to do good PR, because no matter what you do, you're going to have some fucks who are upset. And then even then, like, I don't think the Bills would want to be gifted the 1 seed because a player almost died. I don't know. I'm not speaking for them. I don't know. Yeah. That would be my guess. If it was me, I would understand, but I wouldn't want it that way. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens and what they say moving forward. So I just don't know. It'll be interesting. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm struggling. You know, my heart is broken for this kid, for his family.
At 24, at this point in the year when I was 24, I was getting ready to be married.
Right, dude, and I was fuckboy city. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man.
Yep.
I feel for these players. I feel for him, and we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
Logistically, like I don't know. Yeah, I think they'll make it a tie.
Yep.
Is what I think they'll do. But That's just me.
Yeah, because
Anyway,
I don't think any of the players, like, I don't even know if they're going to want to play their next game. Like,
yeah.
how does that work? You know what I mean? Like,
That's the thing too, is especially because we don't know anything.
and
You know what I mean?
and when you're not yourself, like, you're not going to play the same, which I would think would lead to more injuries because you're not thinking
Right.
properly. You're not in the right headspace. So, like, it's just going to be so interesting to see what happens with this, you know,
I'm watching this just from a news side of it. That's
double
definitely for sure.
digit $billion conglomerate who has everybody in their feels right now. And there's just there's no way to make sense of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yes, Christina. That is one thing. We'll end on that note because I do think that's a positive note. She said that it sucks, but like for traumatic CPR to be witnessed and the discussions around that and the number of people I saw tweeting out like free CPR classes and talking about getting that certification and everything like that.
Fair.
Like it,
I never considered that.
yeah, it literally could be a domino effect to save a bunch of lives moving forward. And it,
Way to show the silver lining. I like that,
yeah,
Christine.
and the you know, yeah, it's just the fact that, you know, I'm not a God person at all, but
Yes,
God works in mysterious ways. Like the fact that he is near one of the only level 1 trauma centers in that area of the United States, like, you know, it's just bizarre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, had that happened in Buffalo, he may have been fucked.
He very well could have been.
And
He is now.
it is just amazing how, yes, it sucks, but like those little things will hopefully be the difference in that happening. So, yeah. Well, you know, a little somber, a little downer today, but I think we need to talk about it. We'll still talk about stuff moving forward, but
Yeah.
I think it's good for today.
Yeah, I think so too.
So
Hopefully everything works out for him. I really do hope
Yeah.
that he's gonna be okay.
yeah, so I'm gonna end stream real quick.
Okay.
Go to the bathroom, get a drink, boot up Warzone, and I'll restart stream, and we'll be back. Cordell, we do have a full 4 stack today, so I'll let you know if something happens, if someone drops out. But
I might not play super a whole lot there, Cordell,
Yeah.
still.
so all right,
Okay.
talk to you in a few.
All right, sounds good. I've got Smarties.